This Khmer criminal proceeding at the pretrial chamber and the other chambers is both the right and the privilege given to us by the ECCC. For this, we are very grateful, particularly to the extraordinary chambers, especially to the office of co-investigating judges, the victims unit, and the pretrial chamber for allowing us to participate in this hearing today. We are very thankful and would like to acknowledge that the risk, this participation of the victims is the risk the ECCC is taking, because it could be administratively messy, and I'm not the only victim. There are millions of victims who could potentially be civil parties. In spite of this risk, the court believes in victims. The participation of victims here reflects a confidence and belief in victims, which raise the awareness that the court realizes the interests of the victims who really was to be allowed to attend such hearing. And the confidence that the court has on us is that our voices must be heard, and that this direct engagement allows for deeper meaning. And from this direct participation, it helps us that justice must be seen to be done. This is an unprecedented opportunity. The other tribunals in the world, victims were not allowed to participate. So this is the court that is building and contributing to development of international law, and it, of course, the contribution that is very important. And thank you once again to the ECCC for honoring us victims in this way in the search for the truth and justice. We will take care to protect this confidence and trust of us in this process. And we will respect the internal rules. And we are now having some organizations, including these organizations have been cooperating with the victims units. And I would like to thank you, and that we will care for this opportunity provided to us by the court. I am embarrassed and deeply apologize for my inability to speak well my native language. I should blame myself for this, because there is a lack of time to study Khmer, but I can also blame the country and the war for pushing me to seek safety or shelter in a foreign country, and I become a child with no choice. I stand here as a victim of the Civil Party and as an individual and private citizen who have lived and born in Cambodia and lived also in America, and I am here as representative of victims who do not have voice. So people who do not have a voice can have their voice heard through us, whoever they are, wherever they are, city or rural, in country or overseas, old people or new people, or whatever language or dialect they are using or their accent. I think that they can share their voice with me, and for those who could not be in this court today, they might lack resources, or they might fear, or they have other commitments that they cannot attend. Formally, I would like to present the orphan class, those who lost both father and mother during 1975 to 1979. And for victims, this is your court, and although we have different action, different experiences or background or where we lived, but what bound us as the victims is the pain we have endured and the suffering we have endured, and the demand that we believe that justice will be served to us. So today, this court is, of course, the court of the victims. And I would like to appeal to all victims who are following this hearing to not fear or feel intimidated to whether participate formally or informally in all the proceedings. And I would like the court to pay more attention in organizing the victim protection better than what we are having now. For me, and I hope that the other victims might share different comments, this is not an issue of revenge, but it is about the highest respect for rule of law and justice. Here, Mr. Nuon Chea is under provisional detention. It is true that under the range of Mr. Nuon Chea, when I was 7 years old, my brother Darawut, even younger than me, he was at about 4 years old, and we was put in prison under Mr. Nuon Chea range. And the confinement was, we were not informed of our rights, and no due process, and we were arrested arbitrarily, no charges made or given. And when we were detained, we were not given any information, and we did not inform about the charges against us because there is no rational information for us to know why we were detained, and they kept us and they treated us inhumanly. So they put shackles, and to us the graves were our playground. Here, Mr. Nuon Chea is afforded all the protection of the best legal principles and ideals, both domestic and international law. He has both national and international lawyers, so he has more lawyers, and the courts affords this. And when he is arrested, he is given all the important information in relation to his rights, and in his appeal against this provisional detention order is proving that he is exercising his Khmeru criminal proceeding at the pretrial chamber and the other chambers is both the right and the privilege. The victims unit and the pretrial chamber for allowing us to participate in this hearing today. We are very thankful and would like to acknowledge that the risk, this participation of the victims is the risk the ECCC is taking, because it could be administratively messy and undoubtedly to the extraordinary chambers, especially also to the office of co-investigating judges given to us by the ECCC. For this, we are very grateful, particularly